we welcome the night.
Welcome to Horror Night Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, we're still here, is Ian. Ian, how are you?
I'm good.
No, I digress. Jesus. Our Coulrgoria Marathon continues, and the film we have tonight, we thought Coulrgeist was something. Oh, man. We didn't know what we oh God, tongue tied. We didn't know what to expect with 8-Ball Clown, and it's going to be one of those shows where it's just no fucks given. So I'm just going to say it out loud, no fucks given, Ian, because this film is okay. So like I said, Coulrgoria Marathon, our film 8-Ball Clown. Ian, what the fuck was this?
I have no idea. I was sitting there asking myself that the entire time I was watching this.
You know, sometimes we get a movie and it's bad, and it's bad because, just continuity errors, a few things here and there. Sometimes it's just bad, like Coulrgeist last week. It was bad. It wasn't good. It had some faults to it. But my fucking God, did 8-Ball Clown make Coulrgeist look like fucking Return of, like It Chapter 2. Not It Chapter 1, because It Chapter 1 was pretty decent, but It Chapter 2, where it just didn't know what it was trying to do. Just like, this, my God, this one, Ian, honestly, I don't know where to start. I do not know where to freaking start with this one because there's no plot. There is literally no plot. There's no reasoning behind anything that fucking happens. There's no continuity, and there's all kinds of fucking problems with it, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But let me try to get this review started in some fashion because the film doesn't have it, but we're fucking gonna try. So 8-Ball Clown is about 8-Ball the clown, and he wants to commit suicide, but he can't commit suicide for some reason because he keeps getting phone calls from kids, and this is an hour into the fucking movie where we learn this part out because the first fucking hour is him, a whole other subplot that doesn't make any sense to the fucking story, where people are showing up to his house because, again, we don't know what the fucking 8-Ball the Clown is because the film doesn't know. This is almost Coulrgeist levels where they didn't know exactly what they wanted to do with the clown. But this one, they don't give nothing. There's no fucking reason to what this thing is, because he's a normal person and he puts on makeup at the beginning of the movie, and this film goes on for far too fucking long. I tell you that much. What they should have done, instead of having the first 15 minutes of him, putting on the makeup and everything, and then having the existential conversation crisis after that, they should put that all together in one take. But they couldn't do that because we'll get into reasons. I'll tell you why. It's not. I know, Ian, as soon as I said after the credits, it all makes sense to everything, all the errors. We'll get into that. Because that's a big fucking reason this film fails. So he goes on to this existential crisis, and the only thing that I can compare it to is in wrestling, like I do a lot of things. This is like the way that 8-Ball acts is very Bray Wyatt in his new persona with the Firefly Funhouse and the Fiend. But instead of but it's like with 8-Ball, the Fiend is the one doing all the Bray Wyatt talking, like the big words and the fun, laughing and having fun, the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood sort of feel to it. And then the Fiend is like the evil dark side. But this one, they just combined two. And again, this is before the whole Fiend thing happened. So this was way beforehand. So who knows? Bray Wyatt could have watched this film. That's a great idea, but I got a better way of to execute it. And so he acts all happy and sad and all these things, and he's talking because he's I guess addicted to heroin, or he's addicted to something, and he wants people to experience his god, which is heroin, and he goes around with syringes and injecting people with heroin. He even does it to children and to a baby. And it's one of the few parts I remember in this thing is him killing the pregnant woman and the syringing her with the heroin and then putting the heroin because he wanted to have a heroin baby. At least that's one thing. I was got one fucking laugh out of me. At least that's something interesting. But then, again, he's a normal person at the beginning of the movie. And then he goes through all this thing where he's trying to kill himself, but then, other people, they know where he lives. The pregnant lady with the balloon belly, it's literally a balloon underneath her shirt. It's so bad. Yeah. And then, later on, the husband comes and, I don't believe you. Her car's in the front of your house. I'm going to come in. Then he gets killed, and then, there's the other guy that's, the dealer, I guess, and he kills him or something, and then, there's another lady that comes in there. I have no idea where the fuck she came from, and then, he kills her, I guess, and, he puts, clown makeup, and that goes on for far too fucking long. Every time he has someone, he has to, okay, it's time to put some color on your face, and then he said that to the first black lady in there. That's kind of not good. That's kind of racist. Let's put some color on your face, but she's already black. But no, he puts blue on her. And the writing in this is terrible. It's a lot of stuff that's just done on the fly, and there's a reason for that. And this film, oh God. Okay, so the main part of this movie is two kids, a boy and a girl, and they prank call it's sort of like Wrinkles the Clown. There's that docu-horror movie that came out last year where it's sort of documenting a real-life clown that had a telephone number, and he would get all these messages and stuff like that. So it's very similar to that, but the people, there's so many errors. They call it Wiggles the Clown. Oh, we're calling Wiggles. And then it gets the answering machine. You've reached 8-Ball the Clown. And okay, there's something going off here. There's a lot of fucking problems with this film. Too many to even name. There's later on, there's scenes that's happening that are out of sync or doesn't match up. And there's just a lot of editing, a lot of continuity issues, and just a lot of things that doesn't add up to anything because it doesn't fucking matter apparently. Because we'll get into that. And so the clown, he's in the midst of committing suicide, right? And he has the gun in his mouth, but he can't do it. He does that numerous times, and we have the same scene over and over where he's contemplating suicide and putting the gun in his mouth, but yet he wants to see people laughter and worship his god was just heroin. And he I don't know what the fuck this thing is. But then, like I said, he's a normal person with clown makeup on. You see it, put him on, unless it's some kind of Popeye situation where he gets like some kind of supernatural ability, or after he puts the makeup on, you know. And so he later on in the movie he decides to get revenge on the kids that call him and like leave him bad messages, and the little brother farts on the phone and calls them names and all that stuff. And so he goes after those two kids that just he magically knows where they live, and starts terrorizing them. And that's the last act of the movie. And my God, is that last act of a movie a fucking slog? Oh my God, there's so many fucking things wrong with that last act that it's bewildering. It's just amazing that so much shit. Because like the little sister is like, how dare you, you know, because her brother, like, how dare you play with me, you know, like prank me and everything. There being the clown outside the window, and then the next thing you know, she just goes to the kitchen, and then she runs back to her room and calls 911. And, you know, think, oh, there's a clown, it's trying to kill me. And then the fucking part after that is like, so it's not a prank, then it is a prank, and then it's not a prank again, because after the whole 911 call and then getting scared by a fucking clown because it's in the closet there and it sneaks up on her. And then she goes back to her brother who's in, I guess her dad's room or his room, I don't know. And like, how dare you prank me? You and your friends need to get over this. And then, like, I wasn't in there. And then, like, there's just so many fucking flaws with the logic of this movie, and it's terrible. It's just it's an inducing nightmare because you're trying to put logic into this thing, and it doesn't. There's none there, and there's no sense of nothing. Honestly, there's nothing. There's nothing to grasp onto, and I told you it felt like a vanity project, and there's just like, because there's like all these things like the clown, like, oh, this clown's doing this big, you know, euphemism about stuff, and then they put like the clown posters of like other low budget indie films like Fear Clowns, and then there's like the scene where the clown's like looking through the DVD collection of low budget horror movies, and they're actually low budget horror movies. They're not fake movies. Those are real movies. Like Fear Clowns 2, Garden of Eden. There's another one that he was looking through, but there's like real movies. So it's like there's like a nod there to like other low budget filmmakers that like this person was interested in and decided to give them a nod for making him, you know, get him a director's credit, making a low budget movie. And the thing is, I'm saying all this because the reasoning why this film feels the way it does, and it feels like a vanity project, and it's out of just all over the place, is because it's directed by the little boy of the movie. The little boy is the director. The 7 or 8 year old kid in this movie is the director of it. And I have nothing wrong with like kid directors. I mean, there's been other films like Pathogen, which was they made a documentary on it with the zombie girl. It's a low budget zombie movie. And then there's like Zombie Kids is another teenager, you know, kid produced horror, you know, made directed movie. And those films, you know, they're capable. You know, they're low budget, but there's a love behind it. This one, he's not even 10. And you can tell that nothing makes sense is because it's just a film based off ideas that he thought would be cool. And so he got his sister. It's a family project. It's his sister, actual brother and sister. I guess they got their friend to play 8-ball or someone of the family to play 8-ball. And then they got the dad, I'm assuming it's the dad, to be the director of photography and hold the camera. And then they got their mom or a bunch. It's a family affair, this film is. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's been films like that before. But when you have a kid that's not even 10 years old yet, and that's the reason the film doesn't make sense, because he couldn't make up his mind on what he wanted to do.
I mean, that actually does make a lot of sense.
Because that's the whole end credit. You know, when he was sitting there with the camera on him, that's because he's writing out the script.
That kid's got to be a little shit, too. I mean, some of the theme in this is pretty, the whole heroin worship. That's, I wonder if that was ad-libbed. Gosh, that would be, I would love to see a child write that whole thing. That would be just like, oh my Lord. But yeah, no, that's, wow.
Yeah, it puts everything into perspective. And the reasoning behind the way that the film turned out is because there's no reasoning behind anything, because he couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted the clown to be a normal person or to have powers. And we go on. It's the same thing with Coulrgoria. That's why I said we're going to have sort of the same arguments, but this one just takes it up a notch because, like, he's able to teleport from the kid's house, and then he's in the dad's car in the back seat, and then he attacks the dad, and then he's back at the kid's house, and then he's back in his cellar contemplating suicide, and then he's back at the kid's house, and then, like, he's going from room to room, and then he's, like, in the room, and then, like, he teleports into the closet where one of the kids is hiding. And then the whole fucking 911 call where, like, the little girl calls and runs 911, and then, like, he's talking, so the 911 call goes directly into his subconscious, and, like, he's the telephone on the receiving end. And there's a lot of things that doesn't make sense. And there's an 8-year-old kid writing the damn thing. So there's a reason it doesn't make sense. It's because, like, oh, this would be cool if she would call 911 and it would go directly, and it's just a clown. Like, there's films like that. It's like When a Stranger Calls, like The Killer's in the House, like all that stuff. Like, oh, Black Christmas does that, but there's no phone. It's just him. He's not holding the phone. There's no idea of a phone. It's just like him talking. And she's standing right beside the little girl. And then there's the whole fucking, there's the video chat call that, like, oh, I'm right here outside your room, and, like, oh, are you here? And, like, oh, you're in the house. And, like, the little girl doesn't know. And then the fucking ending I don't even know what the fuck happened there. Because it doesn't matter. And, at least, I was thinking, like, maybe this is some kind of thing. Well, I was hoping. This is what I was hoping, Ian. But, again, this is me, 32 years of age, thinking of something an 8-year-old kid, probably couldn't come up with. Where I thought this was, like, the last thoughts, the last thoughts or revelations of 8-Ball, because he, like, again, overdosed. So I was assuming, like, this whole film, like, after he killed himself, like, he actually did kill himself, after so many hurtful phone calls, that he killed himself. And this was, like, in his mind, like, the one last thing before he dies. And then, like, it goes through the whole movie where, like, he's chasing these kids and killing these kids. And then, like, it goes where he kills the kids, but then it comes back out to, like, the girl waking up, like, the way they did. But then it cuts to 8-Ball, and, like, he's there dead after an overdose, or he has the gun to his head. So it made sense to why everything's so off-kilter. But they didn't do something like that. They just, like, oh, I guess it happened. At least it would have made sense if he actually did die of something. The revelation that it's all in his head, his last living memory, like after he wants to get revenge on the kids and he can't do it, he just doesn't have the balls to do it. And then, like, he kills himself because of all the bad hurtful phone calls, and he kills himself or overdose or whatever. And then, like, the last act of where he's terrorizing the kids isn't actually happening. It's all subconscious. And, at least it made sense because everything's so crazy and he's able to show up and teleport place to place because there's no reason, it makes sense because it's a dream. But there's none of that.
Yeah.
This film was bad, Ian. I'll let you talk. I know I went off on a tangent there, but there's no other way to talk about this film because you have to really go into it.
Yeah. And, I'm laughing, too, because, like, I was sitting here just like, what the fuck is wrong? Whoever made this movie needs to, reevaluate their thing. Just like, oh, yeah, I'm shitting on a child. I think that's the funniest part about this whole thing is that, like, were just shitting hardcore on a child.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And then there's the scene where they get the food, and the guy just hands. It's like the fucking room where Tommy Wiseau comes in there, like, oh hi Barbara, and he gets the flowers and he doesn't pay. And then like that's the same thing with this, where like he goes up to the door, they open the door, he hands him the food, and then he walks away, and like, you didn't get paid for that. And then the next scene, it shows them in the computer room, no food, and then the clown comes to the door, and then they go back, and then there's food. Just, oh God.
Yeah. God. Yeah. No. This is. I mean, maybe he'll learn, but I mean, hopefully, like his future project will be better. I'm kind of curious to see if he keeps up with the movies, because now I'm
probably
just like
10 or 11 now.
Yeah, now I'm just like, an 8-year-old child wrote about a heroin-worshipping clown. I mean, what kind of, like, now I'm just curious about what his home life is like. Because, I mean, obviously, if he did this himself, then his parents must have
the dad is very
decent amount of money.
The dad's all for it, because you saw him there at the very end there, like, awesome, awesome, great job. And, like, I guess he's, like, writing the script, or he's reading it as he's filming him. And, I don't know. I guess he has supportive parents, because, again, their house is littered with clown posters and low-budget horror movies. So apparently they're supportive, or they're horror, of course they're horror fans themselves, but he has something about clowns, and I love something weird
too.
there. I do think there's a lot of ad-libbing too, because it felt like, again, the guy that played 8-Ball, I mean, he's over the top. All right, he really played it over the top, like I said, that Bray Wyatt sort of vibe to it. Like I said, that's the only way I can describe it. If you know the wrestling world out there, who's ever listening and knows current Bray Wyatt. But he's very over the top, very energetic, and again, it doesn't make sense to what he is. And like I said, there's a reason, because he doesn't know himself. And he just thought, again, they're thinking, cool idea. Let's have this happen. Let's have that happen. It has nothing to do with the last act of the movie. And then there's like the scenes, again, where like he goes after the kids, and like he's already killed like a little girl, but there's so many things wrong with this movie. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
I know I interrupted you again, but I'm sorry. There's just so much.
You're fine. No, I completely understand. And I'm just sitting here just laughing to myself. Oh, man. I want to say I absolutely hated the effects in, like, almost, like, the whole first half of the movie, where it was all, like, swirly and everything. It started giving me a headache, because it was just, like, this, the audio distortion was awful. The, just like everything's all, I get it, that it was like a drug, he was in a drug haze,
trance,
which that didn't really make sense. Like, a lot of it, like, I don't know, I just, and that beginning, like, literally the first 5 minutes, or first 5 or 8 minutes, felt like eternity of just him putting that makeup on. Like, I was like, I get it. He's a clown. I don't need to see his whole, makeup routine. Like, just, show him putting it on, and then, like, the finished product, and boom, you got your point. You got your point across. That it's a real person who puts makeup on. That's cool. And yeah, I get distorting every once in a while, but it just drug on too long. I think that's the worst part about this movie, is that, like, everything dragged on. Like, him looking for the kids, him putting makeup on other people, him holding a baby, and, like, he kept...
And then the scene in the car with the dad.
Yeah. That lasted too long. It's like, just pop up and kill him. No, he's just sitting in the back seat, and the dad never noticed him. He's a huge dude. He's not like some tiny thing. And it's just like, they try to make it seem like he's like a ghost. But he's not.
But yeah, they don't make that clear. They don't, like I said, there's no, it's just a normal dude that likes heroin. And then they make him out to be able to teleport and disappear place to place. And, like, that's okay. Because there's the scene where, again, she goes to the kitchen, and, like, he comes into the window, right? And then I don't know how they do this. So, but they have, he's in the background of the door, and then she comes in and then passes the door, the sliding glass window in the kitchen, and he comes in, and then he's in the next room behind her, and there's like, okay, I don't understand that. And then there's the whole scene in the where the lights go out, and like the boy is in the washroom, and the lights go out, and then like the clown's there, and then like it starts chasing him, and like the door's locked, and then he's not there, and it's just like he's there and he's not there. Like, again, they don't know what they want. And I'm repeating myself on that, but it's true. You're watching this movie, and it's, like Ian said, it's long. It's a long fucking watch, and it's because of all these little continuity errors and long-ass clips and scenes that aren't edited properly in the slightest. It goes from, Ian said, audio. The audio's out of fucking whack in this film because it goes to, like, low child's talking, and then like its audio is edited in. Like, there's that whole scene where like the phone's going off, and like they're leaving messages before the answering machine even picks up. It's like, it's so out of whack.
Yeah, and the kid was not a good actor.
No, they weren't.
He was not. And like, I can say, because I've seen children actors. I've seen kids that put on a better performance. Like, everything was just deadpan with him. I was like, is he a fucking serial killer? Is he going to turn into a serial killer too? Like, I kind of was hoping for that. Kind of hoping the kid would turn into a serial killer. Like, join the clown. Like, yeah, that would have been something. But we got really...
No, I love the fact that, like, no, we hate clowns. We're scared of clowns, and they have all this clown stuff in the house. It's like, what? It seems totally opposite, that you're scared of clowns when you have a bunch of clown movies and clown posters up all over the place.
Right. Oh, God. It's just...
There's just, like, it's common sense is gone. Continuity is gone. The reasoning behind the fucking clown is gone. And like I said, it's directed by a kid, not even a 10-year-old kid at the time. And again, the reasoning, because it's a kid. He can't make up his mind on what he wants to do, and he has all these ideas, and he wants to put them to screen. Like, oh, this would be cool if the lady was pregnant and she had a baby, and then he would put clown makeup on there, and then he would cut out her kid. And then there's this whole spill of what kind of weapon he would want to use. And then he just gets a knife because, fuck, it's easier to use a knife. And he shoots it up with heroin, and then he wants to raise the baby.
Yeah, and he's not giving the baby.
It's just a kid naming off ideas because they're a kid. It's like, what do you want to do? Or, one of those energetic kids, I wouldn't say like, they're just energetic, and then we're going to go to the mall, and then we're going to go to 21 Forever, and then we're going to go to this place, and then we're going to go to Hot Topic, and then we're going to go to Rue 21, and then we're going to go to, we're going to go here, and we're going to go to this place, and we're going to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, and we're going to get this, and I'm going to get this thing, and then we're going to be awesome. It's just like a kid. You know, that's what he is. But like in a horror movie, in a clown movie, he decided to do that with like terrible things. You know, it's like him if he got Spirit Halloween now, and like during Halloween, like, okay, so now we're gonna go to Spirit Halloween. I'm gonna get a knife. I'm gonna get a sickle. I'm gonna get some fake blood. I'm gonna get one of those Michael Myers Halloween tins with the mints in them, and then we're, you know, then we're gonna go to McDonald's, and then I'm gonna get a chicken nugget, the Happy Meal, and then you know, that's the way this film feels.
Yeah, and you know, like, just knowing that a child made this and the themes is just like really just like, what does their parents let, like, I mean, I was able to watch whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I understand that. So like it's just like, but there was some stuff that I wasn't, and I'm just like, this kid wrote about a heroin worship, not like a person who was on heroin. No, this person worshipped. He said that heroin was his god, and that
he
his
wants
God
other
told
people
him to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
So
he wants other people to understand his god, which is heroin.
Yeah.
That he injects into people, in their necks, in their bodies.
And
including
honestly, that would have been like a bad scene.
No.
Oh gosh. But it's just the execution, and like, yeah, I got a feeling. I have a feeling that they're gonna like they Google their movie, and we're gonna get a strongly opinionated review like like that one movie that we did, and that we had to get an explanation about why the mushroom scene was so important. And it's just like, I don't care. It was bad.
Yeah.
But no, I just, oh God.
No,
but
again,
it's
a family affair. It's a family affair film. So there's a lot of things like, okay, you're up until this amount. You know, they're kids. Of course, they have school and there's other things to do. So I'm assuming it's just like we can do a few things on the weekends, and it's what they kind of do. Just get a bunch of friends, and again, I'm assuming the clown was the friend, and again, a bunch of other people. And because you can see the people that made the film. It's two people standing there because there's especially the car scene. Like, we thought the fucking window scene in Coulrgoria was bad. They stand in front of a fucking car, and you can see them hold the camera.
Yeah.
It's definitely his dad. I'm assuming it's his dad. And again, like, it's an interesting idea. I mean, the idea, it's you know, but like you said, execution and just like editing. I don't know if he edited it himself or anything, because it does feel like, you know, one of those type of movies, you know, where it's just a family project. You know, it's like, what was that other? I don't know. I forgot what it was, but there's another film I think we watched or discussed where it's sort of like a bunch of family members doing it. It's not any of the Michael Taylor Pritt, but it kind of, you know, it has maybe. But at least his films make sense, you know, Michael Taylor Pritt and all the Pritts and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
But you can tell like there's more, you know, heart. And, you know, there's a reason for those films. But it is a family affair, but this one, where again he's 8 years old or somewhere in that vicinity of 8 years old, and he has, again, I guess a 10. I would assume the sister's 10. I would assume. You know, maybe 9, maybe he's 7. I don't know. He's somewhere. They're young. They're young kids. And they're going around cursing and, you know, everything like that, language that my mother would probably slap my mouth if she heard me say when I was that young. You know, I couldn't even say fart that young. I would get scolded. Like, you can't say that. I'm like, fart? You know? But
body function, Mom. God.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's what I was saying.
But yeah, I'm putting
like,
real world in there instead of a movie world. But go ahead, Ian.
Hey, no, that's what I was saying. I was just like, dang, his parents really, like, does not care. And, you know, and I'm going to say this, like, for an 8-year-old child, it was better than I would have thought 8-year-olds could do. I will say that. Like, I mean, if he's pretty into horror movies, I can I could see throwing together like the concept is there, the whole, you know, heroined out clown that goes on a rampage. I like that. It sounds good and thing, but it's just, like the idea is there, kid, and just keep sharpening.
You got to refine it.
Sharpen your And I definitely will look forward to seeing if you do any more in the future, like that, because I'm like, if you are starting off, this is your starting point, and you're for being a child. And then once you watch more movies and get better ideas, and actually like go to school or something, learn and start getting into editing and learning how to do some of this stuff. Because if this person, the camera looked good for a low budget, and just other than the editing and the poor sound, that was the only problem with that. But
it's the only film he's done so far. So
So
again, there's a lot. Again, it's a kid, so there's a lot of technical issues. There's a lot of editing issues. There's a lot of common sense issues, and just a lot of problems because again, he's a kid, and nothing makes sense because he couldn't make up his mind on what he wanted to do, so he just threw it all at the wall, and then made it stick by using super glue. This doesn't work, but here's some super glue that'll work. And then the whole fucking dream sequences done over and over at the end where it's just again, the idea I had earlier, if he actually did, the reveal is that he did kill himself or he overdosed. And this is all, a heroin-induced trip after he killed himself, and then the reveal that he's dead. It would have been, some reasoning behind it, but they don't give that. It's just a guy that's a person, but somehow can teleport from place to place in this blink of an eye. He's in the car, he's at the house, he's back in his cellar contemplating suicide. And then he's getting called again, and then he knows where the kids are. And it's just a lot of things that just, again, common sense will not allow you to, you have to question it because it doesn't make sense. And you're just sitting there arms up in the air what is going on? And it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I can't. But Ian, what else you got before we call this? Before we try to get out of here because our minds are going to explode.
Right. No, I don't think I got anything.
It did feel like you were coming off some kind of trip, honestly. It was definitely you're on some kind of high trying to figure this shit out. It's scene to scene, like I said, it's just random scenes happening for no fucking reason. Again, the whole point, it'd be cool if, the pregnant lady comes down there and he killed her, and then the husband comes after her, and then, he kills her, and then, there's just this other lady there that doesn't have anything to do with the film, and then his heroin dealer that does a new drug, and that does something, then he kills him, and he never comes up again. That first hour, just nothing makes sense. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just because, we're going back to Mermaid's Curse, because this would be cool, because that would be cool, because this would be cool.
Yeah, and, I say a good storyboard would have solved a lot of his problems. And just writing down his ideas on a storyboard and figuring out if it actually made sense. If he's coherent enough to, do what he has done, then I'm pretty sure, that's just, that right there, just simple fix, storyboard. We've seen movies that are bad and all that. And for what it was pretty bad. But I think it's just incredible though to see a child doing something of like this And I hope,
there.
you know, and I get it. You know,
I'm gonna have a 6-year-old
but...
daughter that's gonna come up with fucking heroin and you know. Let's make let's have him make a documentary on Hitler at 6 years old. How about that? Same fucking thing.
It's just...
you know, like you shouldn't be doing that stuff at 6. You know, let's deal with abortions at 6. How about that? That'll be a good one. Let's have aborted fucking babies. You know, oh my god.
But you know, and it's just that's the thing. Like, I mean, I'm literally just in shock that it was an 8-year-old who made that movie. Just because of like the suicide. I mean, the suicide themes were so dark. Kind of wanted the heroin baby to, like, it would turn out like the heroin baby grows up and like starts killing people too. And I was like, that would have been cool too. But now I just gave him a sequel. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what.
It's bewildering. It's bewildering. I'll tell you that much. It's just it's something just to be bewildered at.
It's
just to think, you know, like,
movie.
It's something. And like I said, it's definitely a vanity project because it is a family affair film because everyone in this family helped make it. The I guess the mother was like helped with the makeup and all kinds of other stuff because it says in the credits like the Shell. That's the Shell family. So it's whoever's Shell in that in that credits, it's part of the family. And like I said, there's just like I guess she was the other lady too, but it's just like one of those things. Oh my God, it's up there, man. It's up there because it's just again like I'm not complaining about the subject matter either. I mean, yeah, it's weird for an 8-year-old, but again, around that age, you know, or a little bit older, you know, I was thinking about weird stuff too, but I don't know if I knew what heroin was or hard drugs were at that time. But again, it's a new age. You know, again, well, yeah, I mean, you know some things, but you didn't know like the hard stuff. You know, like why, you know, when you watch a movie, like why is he putting the flame underneath the spoon? I don't understand that. You know, of course, you learn that as the years go on, but again, different era, different time. You know, I'm 32. He's probably 10 now, so it's like, you know, the world's changed drastically, and so a lot of things that again at my age, again, I was watching MTV and listening to 90s music on the radio. You know, I was just like awesome. You know, nowadays it's like real world shit. So times have changed.
Yeah.
But I guess that's going to do it because we're going to get off here. But yeah, our Coulrgoria Marathon continues next week. Yeah, we're going to continue on our marathon next week. So hopefully our sanity is with us then, and we're not going to be right there with 8-Ball Clown trying to commit suicide. So
it is 2 for 2.
Ian, yeah, it's 2 for 2. So we'll see. And we both agreed on the film, so it's like we're into this together. We're on a journey. Yeah. And it's always fun. It's these. I'm telling you, man. These clown movies, they're something else, man. That's the one thing I said. They're always something else. And it's a world of its own because you never know what you're gonna get. And honestly, we fucking don't know what we're gonna get when we start these. Like I knew something was up with 8-Ball Clown, but I did not expect this.
Nah, neither did I.
I thought the clown was gonna die when you read it. Like, oh, he gets killed by a bunch of kids, and he comes back. You know, like, oh, it's not that at all. He just gets tormented by a few prank phone calls, and then he goes fucking meh. But anyway, Ian, as always, it's great talking with you, and we will see how our lives go next week. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.